And that's why we're here to measure how folks are feeling about this election and the upcoming likely matchup. Listen to what they told me about that.
I am so sorry to my world. I am so sorry to my world.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Benny. We often talk about a target-rich environment that we have here right now in America, where there are so many libs salty and crying and seething on TV that it makes for great content, and it is a target-rich environment to make fun of. But sometimes they just make life way too easy for you. Starting here, ladies and gentlemen, with, of course, the new polling that shows that young voters are actually preferring Donald Trump to Joe Biden. They are siding with Donald Trump over Joe Biden. Biden standing with young voters gets scathing assessment by New York Times. Many young voters don't like him. Virtually every poll shows a close race between Trump and Biden. Trump is attracting more young voters. What's not to like here? What's not to like? New poll. Biden gets low marks, particularly from young voter polling finds. Polling is actually finding that Biden's overall approval with young voters is below Donald Trump's. So young voters are literally breaking for Trump. So MSNBC went and did a little series on this and spoke with young Democrat voters. And one, this is a absolute practice in why you need to eat a high protein diet. Because what happens to you when you inject pure soy into your bloodstream is not pretty, especially as a man. But more importantly, it shows exactly how much young people actually hate the slop that they're being fed by their own party. Listen to this. If you can watch it through the tears that you're about to cry when I play you this clip. Watch and listen to the words that these young Democrats are saying about Joe Biden, who they have been commanded by the media to love.
Something new we're doing as part of our NBC News coverage of the 2024 election. We're excited to roll out this new initiative. It's called the Deciders. What we're going to see here throughout the year is that we will have our reporting teams on the ground consistently in 7 key counties, talking to the people, looking at the issues that will both define this election and hopefully explain this election. I'm joined now by correspondents who are part of this initiative. Shaq Brewster is in Dane County, Wisconsin, and Marissa Parra is in Miami-Dade County, Florida. So, Shaq, you're following specifically how Democrats in Dane County, a very Democratic county, are feeling going into 2024. Why is this county so important for us trying to read the Democratic headwinds, and how are the voters there feeling as we start to turn the page into an election year?
Yeah, this county is important because of a key word, and that's enthusiasm. It's important for Democrats and the Democratic Party base to be enthusiastic as they're going into an election. And here in Dane County, you have a high concentration of young voters, progressive voters, college-educated voters, voters who turn out in elections and have turned out here in Wisconsin. Back in 2020, you saw a 90% voter turnout in this county.
90% voter turnout? You sure about that? You sure about that? Yeah, okay. The unmanned drop boxes and universal mail-in ballots. That'll get you 90% turnout. What about the places where there's 150% turnout? How do you explain that? Anyway.
And it's a place where 3 out of every 4 voters ended up backing Joe Biden. So enthusiasm matters, and that's why we're here to measure.
The county with 90% turnout, which is unheard of, most of the voters back Joe Biden. Isn't that interesting?
How folks are feeling about this election and the upcoming likely matchup. Listen to what they told me about that.
Just give me the emotion that you have looking at your choice this election.
Not enthused. I'd say overall I feel very pragmatic and strategic about it.
All of these issues that are popular with Democrats, he has not only not addressed, but often gone the entire opposite way on. I mean, I can look at like almost every issue in my head that's important to me, and I see a failure on Biden's part.
You can say that Joe Biden's, he's not.
Why do they all talk the same? They all have the same, like, lispy, creepy, high-pitched voice. Do you all practice this in the mirror?
As progressive as you'd like, or he's not.
Soy boys. Soy boys. It's killer.
He's too old. I mean, the guy is at least reasonable and has some sort of logic to what he does and understands the basics of, I guess, how to be a president in some ways.
He understands how to be a president? Why do you back Biden? He understands how to be a president?
Even if I'm not enthused to effectively elect my grandpa a second time. Boy, do I want to keep the other guy out.
Oh, this is great. Okay, so all 4 of the Backstreet Soy Boys, all of them have the exact same voice, the exact same lisp, the exact same tight yellow turtleneck that they're wearing. And then they bring in this woman wearing a muzzle that you would give to like a Clydesdale. And watch this.
If the election were tomorrow, what would you do?
I don't think I'd vote for him.
Deeper voice than the men. I don't know.
I still couldn't, obviously I could not bring myself to vote for Trump, but it would be the first time, I think, if I had to choose tomorrow, it would be the first time I think I'd vote for someone else.
Leftism is such a sad state of life, of living, of self-denialism, of denying science, and of not capturing and grabbing the fruit of your own biology, the fruit of who you could be as a man or a woman, not achieving for something, not hitting the gym, eating red meat, having aesthetic beauty. It is such an ugly ideology.
Third party.
Now the Biden campaign
ugly results for our nation, metaphorically and physically.
Payne is almost saying, wait, it is early. There's still a lot of time before the election. They also say that they are focused on many voter groups, that they know they have to win them over, and that they're already making investments specifically toward young voters. But that's just an example of why we're focusing on a county like Dane County, because we can measure and track how those voter sentiments are changing as we get closer to Election Day, Garrett.
Great stuff, Shaq. And I'm just glad we sent you to the coldest county so we can keep up our tradition of Shaq Brewster in miserably cold
I find
places.
my way inside.
All right, well, Shaq Brewster, thank you for that reporting inside today. Marissa, you got the other end of that coin. You're in the always relevant Miami-Dade County down in Florida, home state of not one but 2 Republican presidential candidates. What are we watching for in that county headed into next year?
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why Miami-Dade is an interesting place, an interesting county to watch for 2024, and not just because of the Hispanic population, one that is diverse at that, but also because everyone's question is whether or not the 2022 midterm results were a fluke or
a Hispanic population that is diverse. It sounds just like Jill Biden. Remember Joe Biden called the Hispanic population's breakfast tacos?
A sign of what's to come. I want to show you the voting trends, those numbers from 2012 to 2022, because you can see the Democratic erosion in those numbers. What you see is a boost of support for former President Trump after he got elected, and that is significant between 2016 and 2020. And then you can see former Florida Governor Ron DeSantis winning with over 55 percentage points, in large part both of those gains because of Hispanic support. And these are gains, by the way, that the Republican Party has not seen in decades, since 2002 with Florida Governor Bush. So among the many things that we're keeping an eye on here, we're keeping an eye on the population changes. We're talking about, we know the Hispanic population here, roughly 70% identifies as Hispanic or Latino here, but half of that population is Cuban. There's a whole other half there that often gets neglected, often, not always. And what we're looking at is how effective it is when campaigns do reach out to the Venezuelans, to the Colombians, Chileans. We're also looking at the young population. This is one of the fastest growing ethnic voting groups in the country, right up there with Asian Americans, Garrett. And so we're looking at young Latinos as they turn 18. How are they going to vote? Are they going to trend progressive as is projected? And so we know that these are places, Miami-Dade is a place that many campaigns have spent a lot of time in, Garrett, in very different ways, both in English and Spanish, billboards, radio, TV. We're looking at how they're targeting their target audience, which part of the Hispanic population they're targeting, and how effective that is over this next year.
So I got a photo of somebody who likes to target young Hispanic kids. Such a monster. I love MSNBC. It's the self-owning MSNBC clip. This has happened, by the way, in Florida. MSNBC, one of my favorite clips ever. This was a 2-year-old clip. They were at a gas station asking a Latino young Latino voter about gas prices, and this happened.
Green car, an electric car, hybrid car?
All right, two-pronged question for you, William. Okay. The first one is this, and Katie makes a great point. The fact that we are seeing gas prices impact people's pocketbooks so much right now, would that change how you're considering voting for the next election, whether it's congressional later this year or presidential a couple of years down the road?
Definitely. I just know that one administration had cheaper gas, and this administration has more expensive gas.
And this is a bot.
You can listen to the silence there. You can hear the sound of the man's soul leaving his body, knowing that that was live on MSNBC. Oh, into my veins. Please, into my veins. Thank you, MSNBC, for the good laugh. Boys, eat your protein and hit the gym and read your Bible. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. See ya.